Well, a warm welcome to you all. It is our Friday Carnivore Conversations Live. I'm JJ. I'm a life coach and I eat mostly meat.
I'm Eric, and streaming live from the world headquarters of JJ and Eric in the basement of those world headquarters.
This is giving me a shadow.
Yeah, it's giving you a little shadow. We do not have our setup sorted.
This is our first live from this new location in the basement. We did a live upstairs, didn't we?
We did, I think. Yeah, we did a live up there. So we are, it's impromptu.
It is. We are still on, I want to say island time, like, but it's not
It's
island
lake time.
It's lake time.
So we have we are living in our new house on the new property that we've been talking about since the channel started.
Well, yeah.
Half a year ago.
Yeah.
But we are not entirely moved. How moved are we? I would say we are 25% moved.
I was going to say 20-ish, 20. Yeah, I agree.
Because we didn't pack up the other house in order to move it here. It's 20 minutes away. And so we've been taking the pickup truck back and forth to get the essentials. And then we forget some of the essentials. And then we go back. But it's a kind of a nice way to do it because hopefully we only bring the things here we need and then we get rid of everything else.
That'll be the hope. Yeah. We've only had 3 years to prepare for the move.
Yeah, I don't know why we're not more prepared except for life happens, right?
It does. It does.
I just ate a steak and a half.
You have been eating enormous quantities of steak this week.
Yes. And if you know this channel, you know that I had a beef aversion. And then all of a sudden, one day I said, I think I'd like a steak. And I did like the steak. And ever since then, I've been eating them. But a couple days ago, I had a 2-steak lunch. And then later, I ate another one.
3 steaks in one day.
Unprecedented for me.
Very
and I've
much
been
so.
doing carnivore for almost 2 years. It'll be 2 years in October.
It's coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I am glad to be back liking steaks because, man, it is hard to do just on burger patties and chicken and pork and the occasional beef tenderloin. So, yeah, it's really nice.
I have a question for you.
I have an answer.
You'll make one up even if you don't. I was just talking to a friend of mine. We connect a few times a year. And she's like, she cannot imagine just eating meats. What would you say to someone who is like, oh, that seems so limited. Like I can't imagine just eating meat. Or mostly meat.
Yeah, well, it is obviously limited in reality, but it actually makes it way easier in one hand because you don't have as many decisions to make. On the other hand, if you go off plan like we did for the holidays over Christmas, that will reignite the cravings and make you want to have the wider menu of foods for sure. But as long as you like the foods you're having, it isn't that big of a deal.
Well, and I brought you up to her because of your meat aversion.
Yeah. Well, now that steak is back on the menu, it makes it way easier. I think without that was really tough. Although we didn't ever experiment with lamb.
No, we did
which
not.
I know a lot of people eat, but we haven't yet gone down that path.
No, we have not.
I have a feeling I would like it less, but I don't know. I've had it in the past, but what's the way to what is the cut of lamb for you out there that we should try? And how do you make it?
Yeah.
Do you like it? Do you salt it? Do you roast it? Do you air fry it? How do you even approach it?
I've only had it in euros, also known as gyros.
I was gonna say, I think you can get it for dollars here too.
If you are joining us either live, if you happen to catch us during our random time, or you are watching the recording, we'd love to hear from you. So go ahead and pop into the comments where you're from. And if you are carnivore, how long you've been carnivore, or if you're keto, or if you're ketovore, or if you're carnivore curious, or even, I guess,
Wow, that's too many options.
but you know who you are. But what?
Wait a minute.
Oh
What's
my
happening
goodness.
here?
We've moved cameras.
That's the FaceTime camera. Let me switch this to show you. Now you're getting like behind the scenes footage of Eric and JJ live. I was trying to do a thing and it went.
I like the lighting
wrong.
better on this. Not the angle so much.
Yeah.
But whoa. Yeah, wildly wrong. He was just trying to cut me out. I gave too many options. But no, let us know how you eat. Let us know how you eat and how long you've been eating that way. Even if you're standard American diet, or I'm giving more options, vegan, vegetarian, whatever.
I will do this.
There we go. Nice. Nice.
Did you see our insulin sensitivity carnivore video that came out Wednesday? It's been doing pretty well, and I thought it was pretty interesting. It was something you had read in Gary Taub's new book.
I did, yes.
And one of the things I found confusing, even when I watched the replay of the video, was you talked about how carnivores, anybody, our fat cells are exquisitely sensitive to insulin.
Yes.
Okay, so you have fat cells are insulin sensitive, but at the same time, being insulin sensitive is a good thing from the point of view of the overall the system, right?
Yeah.
Because it's the opposite of insulin resistance.
Correct.
So when you say that fat cells are insulin sensitive, that's not a positive or a negative thing. The way that being insulin sensitive systemically is. Do you see what I'm saying?
I do.
And where there could be confusion?
Well, I do. So insulin resistance, the problem with fat cells being exquisitely sensitive is that, like you're alluding to, the system, other cells in your body become resistant to insulin. So insulin gets pumped higher and higher, and more of it circulating through your blood or your system and blood, right? Does it circulate through blood?
Sure it does.
Yeah. It circulates through your blood to bring, because it's not, oh my gosh, I just lost my train of thought.
This is live, people.
It is. So the rest of the cells that are insulin resistant, the insulin is not getting into them. The body has to produce more and more insulin to get the insulin in the insulin resistant cells. So this might be brain cells, muscle cells, etc. But it's not necessarily the fat cells. The fat cells are going, come on in, insulin, and responding by storing more and more fat, growing in size. Yeah.
Okay. So what the overall point is that in order to release fat from fat stores, insulin has to be lower than most people might think.
Correct.
Because those fat cells, if they sense any insulin,
a very low threshold of
then
insulin.
They're like, no, I'm holding on to the fat. That's what you mean by sensitive. They sense even small amounts. They're like, oh, holding on
to the fat or storing.
Whereas
holding or storing.
The rest of the cells, if they're insulin sensitive, they're not needing as much insulin in the bloodstream in order to take up the glucose.
Correct.
Got it.
Does that make sense?
It's starting to. The word sensitive used in the two contexts had me confused.
We should coin a different phrase. They are exquisitely
picky.
They aren't, though. They're like, no, bring it on.
They're exquisitely hungry.
For insulin?
I don't know. You're the one who read the book. I'm sorry to put you on the spot, but I thought it was an area of confusion and I wanted to explain.
No, I think it is. And that's why every time I read it from different angles, from different authors, I sort of take it in differently and I feel like I have a better understanding of it. Now that doesn't always translate to my explanations.
Understanding.
Now, if I had slides, right? In my life coaching world, I use slides to really organize my thoughts and to be able to teach in an organized way. We don't have slides here. So
we could, but we've been doing other things like unpacking and moving instead.
Yeah. Which reminds me, we had some questions coming off that video around what happens if you plateau there, because they were understanding this idea. The viewers were understanding that if you hit some sort of a plateau with your weight, especially, it's a sign that you are not under that insulin threshold, that you still have too much insulin in your system to allow your fat cells to release the fat. And so we had some questions, people saying I'm plateaued. So it looks like I need to find a way to get my insulin lower. Is this through a different eating window or adding more fat to my diet? And the answer is, I don't know the answer for you. But adjusting your eating window is likely to be a part of that equation. And what I mean is you don't have to worry about extended fasting necessarily, but to really make sure that you're eating in a smaller eating window, maybe no more than 8 hours, but 6 hours, maybe a little bit less, 4 to 6 hours, and moving it earlier in the day if you can and when you can might be useful. Because we also did a video about circadian rhythms and talked about eating earlier in the day during that video. And since then, what I've again understood at a different level is that in the morning, we have that dawn effect with our blood sugar, where our blood sugar rises around sunrise-ish to prepare our bodies to wake up for the day. It's a natural biological thing. And then our blood sugar rises and insulin comes in to tamper it down a little bit. And so we kind of want to design our eating windows around that. We have no control over that dawn effect. That insulin is going to go up. That blood sugar is going to go up. We can do nothing about it. It's our biological imperative. So by moving our eating windows to sort of take advantage of that and not let it pulse up in the morning and then pulse up again later in the day and pulse up again later in the day, you're keeping it a shorter eating window, using that as your guideline to make it earlier in the day so that you get a full 15 hours. If you're done eating by 3 p.m., you might have a good full 15 to 16 hours before you eat or before that dawn effect happens. So again, giving you time to bring that insulin down during that 15 or 16 hours prior to the dawn effect.
And I think that doing that has also helped with sleep.
That's true.
Itself.
Yeah.
And I just saw, again, another news story that, well, it wasn't a news story. It was a study that losing sleep, even a small amount of sleep raises blood sugar.
Yes. Yeah.
And so that would cause an insulin response as well.
That's true. Yeah.
So I don't really know why there's a connection with digestion and sleep, because sometimes eating heavy meal can make you really drowsy, but it's not been my experience that I sleep better on a full stomach. Although some people do find that they do if they eat like butter or something right before bed.
Yes.
I tried that without success.
And I know that is a, Dr. Elizabeth Bright especially talks about eating butter right before bed, especially if you have cortisol issues. And she also does not like the eating window approach.
Yeah.
But I maintain, even if you eat your 3 meals a day and move them earlier in the day, you're probably getting a benefit from that.
I'm way outside of my expertise. It would be pure speculation. But I mean, these people came here to hear us speculate wildly about things. So I'm going to say you're right.
But so yeah, even if you eat 3 meals a day, which I know a lot of carnivores don't, some do. I know Kelly Hogan does. Even if you eat 3 meals a day, moving them earlier when you can is great. I know that we can't always do that. Sometimes we have those evening events and evening family meals.
Mm-hmm.
And so it might not be possible. But if it is, and you're at a plateau, play with that.
So I've been reading a book.
You have.
I'm not very far into it, but I had heard somewhere, I don't even know where, about a book called The Stone Age Diet.
Yes.
And I found it's hard to find because it's out of print. It was written during the 70s, I want to say. And of course, let me see here. Which browser on my phone is it in? It is in none of them. I've lost it. I'll find it again. I can't remember the author, but it's basically talking about carnivore. And the opening sort of introduction, it's just like all of these diseases started happening when we went away from primarily, focusing around eating meat as a species. And I was like, it could have been something Dr. Berry wrote or said. And it was out there in the 70s, kind of bubbled up into the consciousness and then was immediately memory hold. And I almost to the point where I don't even understand why you can't find reprints very easily. Unless there's some massive anti-Stone Age diet conspiracy. But I don't think that's the case. But otherwise, Google wouldn't let me find it.
No, not at all.
But I'm going to see if I can find an actual copy of it so I can read it. Because a scanned PDF of an old book is really awkward to read on any device. Because you've got to pan down the page and then you've got to pan backwards and then up. And it's too hard. It's just too hard.
On my phone. It is, though. It is.
And the text is really small, so I need to get my glasses going.
And you have your glasses on now.
Yeah, I thought I would model them since people don't believe I wear them. Hi, Michelle. How are you doing?
Hello.
New York City. Almost a year, mostly carnivore.
Have you seen any benefits from that? I mean, you've been doing it almost a year. So
yes.
I would think you might have given it up.
And have you eaten any lamb as part of it? And that was our opening question. We're still trying to find people who've ever eaten any lamb.
That reminds me, I've got a hog log somewhere. I don't know if it's in this.
You need to provide context.
I don't know if it's in this fridge or at the other house. I don't know if it's.
What is a hog log, JJ?
A hog log is pork loin.
And it's called that why?
Because you named it that.
But why did I name it that?
Because it's a log shape made of hog.
Yep, it's made. It just is a tube of pork, and we called it hog log, and now that's what it's called.
Yeah.
But it's a pretty indelicate name.
But now it's in your brain.
But if it's cooked well, it's pretty tasty.
Oh yeah, for a while. That's been one that's been in rotation for a while for you. You haven't gone off that one too much.
I like it better than the beef tenderloin, but I do like the beef tenderloin too.
Yeah.
What was those really fatty beef rib things you make every once in a while?
Beef spare ribs.
I like those. They're super fatty though.
Yeah. It's so funny. You buy the package and they're so tiny. Like it's like, oh, this can't be enough, but then it's enough.
I've had
So
issues
much fat.
where it was too much fat.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't ready for that.
Yo.
I was not ready for that, yo. And I had some issues. Yes, if you are enjoying this live or on the replay, give it a like. Give it the old thumbs up. Make sure you're subscribed. I'm 100% sure that Michelle is subscribed. So thank you, Michelle. What else has been going on aside from us having a life of chaos? And Lucky update on our dog. Lucky
update. Yep.
2-week update. He's still alive.
It's 3 weeks.
Is it?
I think
he's hanging on. It is not. He is not full of vim and vigor.
Nope.
He's not looking too clever.
He's not. No.
And but he's still with us. Although this morning when I got up to let them out, I had to carry him out to the yard because he just wasn't willing to stand up. And he immediately laid down. I'm like, well, it's nice and fresh air out here. He'll enjoy that. And then I spied on him with the security camera, and he had moved into the sun. I'm like, oh, he got up and he managed to go like 50 yards. I'm like, that's pretty impressive for him. And then the younger dog came and he kind of was whining at me. And I'm like, what's the matter, boy? And I went out and Lucky was gone.
He was gone.
And so I immediately started a search and rescue mission. And I got within 5 yards of where he was, but I did not see him.
No.
And, but he was rescued. JJ rescued him later, found him at the lake's edge on his back.
Like a turtle who couldn't get over.
But he is still with us, though not lively.
But I mean, I don't blame you for leaving him in the yard, because he's like the last day and a half or so, he's not been walking much at all. But he went all the way down to the lake, which is it's a little bit of a distance. He was motivated to take that lake break.
It's all downhill.
It is downhill, but still, it's a ways away. So yeah,
maybe that's why you found him on his back, is because he rolled down the hill.
Oh my goodness.
And he rolled directly on top of a burr bush.
Burdock. Yeah.
And it apparently got full of burrs, but I didn't remove any of them because
I couldn't bring him in the house with the new furniture and carpets and junk. I had to stay out there and in the yard and deburr him.
So he's not eating much, but maybe he'll eat lamb. We have not tried that.
That is true. We have not tried
that. I don't know. It sounds kind of expensive.
He is not eating much.
Except for he likes liver treats.
He does like that.
So I think maybe he has vitamin A toxicity.
Maybe that's the whole issue.
Bree White says, holy smokes, Eric, 3 steaks in one day. Nice.
Yeah.
They were really good too. When I had made two, probably about 10-ounce steaks.
And you made them,
I'm not to Chafee Baker levels yet, but I made them pretty decently. And I sat down and I finished the first one. I started the second one. I'm like, I don't think I'm going to be able to finish this one. And then I did. I just kept taking bites and kept swallowing, and I never got to that bite until the last two. The last 2 bites were like, but then I'm like, I'm this far.
And then later that day, he's like, I'm starving. Yeah. I can't believe I'm hungry. So he made another. My eating window was closed. I didn't cook any of those. You cooked them all. I
did a good job on the new range.
Yes.
Our first gas.
We have a gas range now, and it has the built-in flat top griddle, which has been good so far. I've liked it.
Yeah, I've liked using it.
Yeah. It's really nice. Back at the other house, we had an electric glass top, and I did not have pans large enough to cook like 3 steaks. 3 or 4 steaks. Like when we would eat a large meal, I'd have to do it on the grill. So now we have got the space where I can do that.
Although I did not get a good sear on these. And if you do it on the flat top, you can't do that basting it in butter technique.
Oh, yeah.
Although I've never really seen that produce any taste that's worth the effort.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't throw the little sprig of, what is that?
Rosemary.
Rosemary?
You hate rosemary.
It looks like a pine tree, right?
You say it tastes like pine trees.
Yeah, I don't like that flavor.
No.
Michelle says, I love lamb. And later answered your question.
Oh, yeah.
Because we asked about benefits on Carnivore. I've had lots of benefits, but fall off the wagon here and there. Still working on the food addiction. Mm-hmm. That's nothing to be worried about, because it sounds like you keep getting back on the wagon.
Yeah.
And keep doing it. But for me, we've said it many times, Carnivore is self-correcting. Once you've done it and you've gotten all these benefits, and then you go off the wagon and you start to lose the benefits, or you have gut issues, it just makes you want to get right back on it, because it's like, oh, I want what I had. and I don't want what I have. So,
I had a whole convergence of life events a few weeks ago that left me very crabby. But
do you want to expound on that?
Well, my husband, whom I love dearly, told me that I was being uncharacteristically mean, and he was right. I was. I was. And again, a whole bunch of, I think there are a lot of variables in that. And one of the variables I think was happening was we were eating out a lot. There were a lot of seed oils happening and a lot of toxic salads, Alan.
Yeah.
So even if I wasn't going way off the carnivore rails, I think that the volume of non-carnivore foods was part of those variables.
Yeah, and also those kitchens, you just don't know what else is on the grill.
No, that's true. I am exquisitely sensitive to gluten.
It's so funny to me that the cheat is a salad.
Yeah.
Who would have thought that? It's like, oh, I'm getting wild and having a salad. When I was in my 20s, eating a salad was like the worst punishment that I would force myself to endure for my health, because I'm like, I've got to eat this green crap in order to be healthy.
Yeah. He would, like, his forking the lettuce was violent. I mean, it was crazy. Yeah,
there was so many of those salads I just gagged down. I just hated them.
Mostly at restaurants is when you do that.
But I was right. That's the thing.
Well,
is that my instinctive revulsion for them was correct. And now I got lured into developing a liking for them, and now it's incorrect.
That is true.
Let's see. Remington, Steal My Heart. Hello from upstate New York. Caught your live. Woohoo.
Hey.
And then later down here says, I'm grilling 2 ribeyes right now. Are they both for you, or are you sharing? Because we've been eating strip steaks.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't eating ribeyes. So that's something that we probably need to give it a shot and see if I'm back on the ribeyes too. Because I remember when I first started carnivore, they were my favorite.
We have them in the deep freeze at the other house.
Yeah. Which just means there's a whole freezer that has to be moved.
Yeah, there is. There definitely is. And our big green egg is not here. It is at the other house.
Also has to be moved, and it's not light. We moved a washer and dryer.
Mm-hmm.
And I did not know that washing machines weigh a lot. And before I figured out the right technique to get it on our trailer on the truck, we used the orange 4-arm forklifts that you've seen on TV. And JJ and I lifted that thing onto the trailer, and it was the limit of both of our capacity.
Yeah, that was all I could do
to get that thing up. And the next day, I'm like, why am I so tired? I'm just so fatigued.
But before then, like, that was my limit. I was kind of done. We did that in the evening, and I was like kind of done after that. We had to finish the moving, but I was done. And then the next morning, you're like, I'm heading back over to get another load. And I'm like, really? Okay. You have fun with that. I did not go with you for that one.
Oh, man.
And you came home and you're like, I don't know what's going on. And I hit a wall. And then you remembered you've been moving things.
That's right.
Very heavy things.
Chad Gregory, Chad from Iowa. Lamb is great. I take a boneless leg.
Leg of lamb.
Leg of lamb. This poor lamb has no bones. And cut it in steaks and grill it.
Oh. Grilling might be a good option, because then you sometimes like a grill flavor, sometimes don't, but that would add sort of that familiar grill flavor.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe.
Yeah.
I feel like it's an area we need to get into.
Mm-hmm.
Lisa says, I'm here. I'm here. Also in upstate New York, Woodstock.
So many New Yorkers today.
So East Coast is represented, but our Pacific Northwestern cohort has not shown up.
No.
I'm guessing they will eventually at least on the replay.
And I have no idea what time it is in Australia. So
Right. Yeah. Well, we are doing this a little bit later than usual.
Yep.
Remington, I hope they are for me. I may let my hubby have a bite of one. One bite of one. Well, JJ made 3 steaks for our dunch today, which we split 1.5 plus and 1.5.
Yep. Yeah.
And she always does this thing where she sets expectations.
I do.
And then I don't know what you said. One is cold and one is overcooked or something. I don't know. What did you say?
I said one is cold and one is hopefully done.
Oh, hopefully done. And one was cold. And the other one was done.
The one we split was much larger than the others, and yeah, there was a time.
But it's like, oh yay! But it's a testament to how much I'm liking steaks that it didn't matter. They were good, and people have talked about eating steaks cold.
Yeah.
How many of you people are out there eating steaks right out of the refrigerator after they've been cooked? Not saying raw, although some are. Are you taking a cooked steak, letting it get cold in the fridge, and then eating it and thinking that's good? Because I have some mental blocks with that.
You know how people would take, like, there's that idea of taking cold chicken on a picnic, like cold fried chicken or something. Like, cold meat for me has never been something that I can really wrap my head around at all. Even cold chicken salad.
We used to eat cold fried chicken out of the refrigerator when I was a kid, but that was it. I was never a cold pizza person back in the carb days either.
Now, cold pizza I could do, because that's like a whole different type of meal.
I had a relative end up in the hospital from that. Never do that. Chad says, Sam's and Costco has it, I'm assuming lamb, for under $5 a pound, and they are grass-fed.
Well, that's good too, because then if we don't like it, then
it's not too expensive.
It's not too expensive.
Because we do know someone in the house who will eat it.
Just one, though.
Yeah.
Arrow, the younger dog, he's been feasting because every time I try to feed Lucky something that Lucky rejects, I end up giving it to Arrow.
Which is okay because he runs 10, 15 miles a day.
Yeah, he does.
He's not putting on excess weight for that. Lisa says, I'm quitting the pizza place soon. I'm so excited. Also, I got my labs back today. A1C went from 6.2 to 5.6. I'm no longer pre-diabetic.
Congratulations.
Yay, that is amazing. Oh, I've got which one? Will I hit the right one?
Let's see.
Okay, all right, that's enough.
That's good.
That's enough.
The question is, can you hear it too?
It's not 5.5. But did you know this isn't possible?
Oh yeah, that is true.
I think you should stop this carnivore nonsense. And the American Diabetes Association website has many good dessert recipes for strudels and pies and things. You should probably just get back to a healthy diet full of healthy carbohydrates.
Yes.
That is ingest.
It is, which sometimes we have to explain. I think on our last live, we talked about that we had just done a video that was being released Sunday.
We teased that it was going to happen.
Yes.
We did not. We have not talked to any of these people since that video went live. And I think because you're here, you were not offended by us talking about how stupid carnivores were. If you didn't see the video, it came out Sunday,
right?
and I think it was like people eat meat, and the thumbnail says, "Are they nuts?" And it's a picture of us, and we play it fairly straight, and we just mock carnivores through the whole thing, repeating all the things we all hear all the time about how stupid carnivore is. And we did a few little wink things in there, but they were kind of subtle. Apparently they were a little too subtle for a portion of the audience, but I knew that going in that was going to happen.
We did know it was risky, but you know, we've got a creative side
and a mildly devilish
and mildly devilish. So every now and then we're going to put out a sort of a
it was sarcasm, a little bit of satire. I don't know what the right word is, but some didn't find it as amusing as I did.
But I loved it when there would be one where they were outraged, but then they realized later, they left a comment, and then they realized later, oh, I get it now.
I mean, I wasn't offended by the misunderstanding.
We expected some
and actually, the carnivores who were the most offended, in a way, I'm like, I get it, because we experienced the benefits, and then we're told that we're being stupid, and we're like, we're not stupid. We're experiencing this reality. It's not, like I was saying to Lisa, it's not that this remission of pre-diabetes or whatever it is fake. I mean, I was making a joke. But, you know, there it is. Senses of humor vary.
Oh, yeah, which is fine.
Lisa followed up and said, I'm not really cured. My RA will never disappear either. But symptoms could lessen, right?
Mm-hmm. I'm guessing.
Let's see here. I've eaten lamb at a nice restaurant and it was delish. I have not experimented cooking other. I like to pay high dollar for it, someone else to do it.
Yep. We could also, I bet Popeyes has lamb. Popeyes does have lamb.
Yeah, that's where I've had it. I didn't like there.
Oh, okay. Then we shouldn't go to Popeyes for lamb.
I thought it tasted vaguely odd.
And this is not Popeyes Chicken, the chain, by the way. This is an independently owned.
And it would be ridiculously expensive.
That would be true. Next door, Speedo's might be good. That's where I used to have Euros, but I don't know.
Speedo's?
Speedo's is right next door to Popeyes.
Do they have lamb?
That's where I used to have Euros.
Oh.
So he might.
Could you just get Euro lamb on a plate?
Maybe.
Oh, doesn't sound very appealing. Kathy Collins, stop. No strudels or pies. Not offended. It was a good skit. Enjoyed it while eating my bacon and eggs breakfast. Yeah, it was fun. And somebody said that we should do one of those like every month. I don't know. Although do you remember the one where I pretended to be the doctor and JJ was the patient and I just wrote prescriptions for everything? Well, I've got an idea for another doctor video.
Yep.
And I'm very excited to do it, but I want to do a little more prep work and not try to impromptu it, because I don't want to miss how good it could be. So look for that sometime in the future. That was a really bad thing to tease. I had an idea. I'm not telling you that you will see someday.
Maybe.
Oh, did he post that idea he mentioned? No, not today. We make this look so easy.
Today we had the whole lucky search and rescue, which got my morning off to a later start. I was going to have some breakfast because, like I've said, we've moved our eating window earlier in the day, most days. And so I was going to have breakfast. I was starving. Anyway, I ended up at the gas station getting The eggs and bacon made me think of it because I would have liked some eggs and bacon. But I ended up at the gas station because I had errands to run and had hot dog for breakfast. it was not it was not the best hot dog. It was not the best breakfast, but it was great because I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Oh my gosh, I'm starving. I don't know what to and it was already 10 and I had to pick burrs off Lucky. And so yeah, I ended up having gas station hot dogs. It worked well.
Well, you could have made a worse choice. I mean, you could have had an Egg McMuffin or something.
I looked at getting an Egg McMuffin. I think the breakfast was done. I thought about having Egg McMuffin with no muffin, but then I remembered that they had hot dogs at the gas station. I was like, yeah, that's probably as good as a muffinless Egg McMuffin.
Lisa says, my humor is so dark. Well, you're in the right place. Although I do temper it a little bit here.
That reminds me. Oh my gosh. We went, this is non-carnivore. We went antiquing yesterday to try to find decor for this house. And the first decor we did happened to be Halloween themed. So you walk into our foyer and there's this picture of these skulls and there's a chalice and this book with troll. What else is in that tableau?
Oh, there's like a little dragon treasure chest and I don't know. What is there's some other ghoulish thing, but
it's a very warm welcome to come into the skull picture.
So we have to explain ourselves if a guest comes. Like, this is not actually the decorations. It's Halloween.
And we just happen to have a lot of Halloween decorations already. And
it's a little early.
So it is a little early. We wouldn't normally do this, but we're also trying to just learn how to put things together.
You watch carnivore content for entertainment, maybe, and education. We spent an entire evening watching how to decorate your bookshelves videos. And that was not that interesting. Except for one of them was really good and had good tips.
Yep.
But you'd think, well, why don't you just put your books on them and then you'd be done? Oh, no.
Oh, no.
You have to create a whole tableau.
Yeah. Yeah.
We should do a carnivore themed bookshelf with little animals and
oh my gosh, that reminds me. We did last fall, my youth theater group did Madagascar Junior, which takes place at, it's zoo animals, and the lion sings all about steaks. So I was thinking about that. We do have steak props from that play, but I love that song was so good.
I don't think we're going to decorate with steak props.
No?
No.
I have them. I know where to get them. Oh, that whole fall I was eating that, or not eating, I was singing that song. If I could sing, I would sing it for you, but I'm not good at that.
Plus, we'd have to clear the copyright.
True.
And we can't.
Luckily, my singing would not be picked up as the actual song. But yeah.
So we've mentioned carnivore to one of our contractors.
Yes, we did.
And he did not do it.
He did not, no.
And when we mentioned it a second time in passing, not that he should do it, but just the fact that we were going to have some steaks or whatever, he was like, yeah, I need to start that. And he didn't. But it makes me, he had some specific health complaints that caused us to bring it up in the first place. Normally we don't start with that.
No.
But it was another case of being on the other side and going, before you've crossed over to carnivore, it's so hard to conceive of doing it for any length of time. And so it just gave me an appreciation that what we just do every day isn't particularly hard to do it. But when you haven't done it, it seems impossible.
It does. It does. And I think he also mentioned that his wife was not quite on board. Like he brought it up to his wife.
Well,
but
she probably said all the
are
things
you
we said on
crazy?
that video we did.
Yes. You're going to die of a heart
Yep.
attack. What? No vegetables? No antioxidants? No. Oh.
No phytonutrients?
No phytonutrients? No fiber?
No fiber?
Oh
No
my.
salad? Not any fruits?
No fruit.
Everybody's got to have fruits.
Got to have some fruit.
That's why they called it Fruit Loops. So the kids could get their
fruit.
Their dose of fruit.
You were drinking a bubbly water, and it says contains no fruit juice. And I was just thinking how it says that because they don't want parents to think that they're feeding their kids fruit juice with this. Like, I think they're doing it like, wait a minute, there is no fruit juice in this. We want you to know that there aren't those nutrients in it.
Oh, okay.
This is a soft drink, not a fruit juice.
I thought it was a benefit that there's no fruit juice in it.
I think for us it would be, but for some it would be a detriment.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we've got one tip on how to prepare lamb. Well, two. And it is buy it at a restaurant where it's prepared for you.
But not Popeyes.
But not Popeyes. And the other one is to take leg of lamb, cut it into steaks and grill it.
Yes.
My reading comprehension is suddenly very, very low. I don't understand why that is.
Well, it's because we didn't get any sleep last night.
That's because reasons. Power went out.
Power outage. Hot. New house. Power outage.
The ceiling fan is smart and was in calibration mode, which means that the light flashed and it beeped really loudly and then went at random speeds. Like it was possessed. It was very strange.
Long night.
Remington is asking, did y'all see the interview with Casey and Kelly Means on Tucker Carlson? Surprised they haven't taken it down yet. Yeah, I saw that shortly after it came out.
So good. So good.
I've been seeing Casey Means making the rounds. She's been on a lot of the carnivore channels. Mm-hmm. So I've been seeing her, and I think I knew of her through Levels, and Levels has software that integrates with a CGM. And so I knew of her through that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that was quite a compelling interview, and they're kind of a power siblings. Power. What was that?
Wonder Twin power.
Wonder Twin activate. Form of a bucket of water.
I thought you were going to do Casey and Callie. Form of a monkey, because one does water, I think, and one does animals.
I can't remember.
I think that's how it goes.
And our Gen X card has been revoked.
But I thought you were going to do form of a Washington lobbyist, form of a ENT medical student.
Yeah. Well, they're very powerful as a team, but individually they're kind of amazing. I think Callie was on Lex Friedman recently. I can't keep track of it, but really good. And it just was we're not surprised by what they said, but getting that message further out into the public, the zeitgeist is really important in order for there to be any significant change in the food supply and also how medicine approaches diet.
Yeah.
Versus prescription pad.
Yeah. You always say you wish Casey were a little farther toward the keto carnivore area just for our benefits. Yet she's very much into no processed foods, etc. So she is still spreading a good message, I believe.
Well, she's she wants a broader market.
That's what you always say too. Yes.
And that makes sense to me.
Yes.
So as a business person, I would not want to cut off more than half of the market just because no one wants to be keto or carnivore.
Yeah, that is very true.
But because you can make significant improvements to your health by eliminating a lot of foods.
I am going to be moving into wearing a continuous glucose monitor pretty soon. I'm just waiting for life to calm down a little bit.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, again, there have been more restaurant meals. Yesterday we were eating the burger patties at Culver's.
Yeah.
There've just been a lot of upheaval and extra stress with the move. And so I don't think I'd be getting really good and no sleeping with power outages. So I don't think I'd be getting good data, but I am excited to do that because I want to do the Dr. Boz thing, Annette Bosworth thing. I've shared on other videos recently that I've really been diving deep into her content and wanting to get into deeper ketosis. And as I mentioned earlier, with that dawn phenomenon, really trying to get my blood sugar and thus insulin down lower in the morning with my dawn phenomenon. So I want to have my CGM. And I do have a Keto Mojo that I've checked most mornings before we moved.
Mm-hmm.
I was beginning to check my blood sugar and my glucose, or my blood sugar and my ketones. But I'm really excited to start with the CGM again here pretty soon. And I will keep you all posted on anything I find out. Although, as we know, it's always an N of one experiment. Your results may differ greatly from mine, but I'm really excited to check that out.
I'm really excited to be done with this moving. And that's going to happen sometime next year.
I know. I was going to say, as we move over a half a dozen boxes at a time.
But fortunately, the construction part of it is almost done.
Yeah.
There's only just a few little things that need to be resolved.
Yeah, this was a week. We had contractors in most days and subcontractors.
That's just disruptive. Although we cook steaks right in front of their faces.
We do.
If they're in the kitchen and we need a steak, it goes on the griddle and they can just smell it cooking, and they've got to go eat lunch in their truck and whatever they brought. Because I'm not sharing my steak.
One of the guys would bring a pizza oven.
That's right. Yeah, the house was filled with
before we lived
pizza
here.
oven smell.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, not seeing a lot of health food on the job site. And I did not admonish anybody. I didn't go knock that sandwich out of somebody's hand and say, "Don't eat that."
Remember how Lucky stole the... What did he steal?
He stole a guy's turkey leg.
This was in his younger days. We had a handyman over or something, and yeah, Lucky made off with his lunch.
Now, why did the handyman have a turkey leg for his lunch? Because it was the days after Thanksgiving, and he had brought his turkey leg because he was going to enjoy it, and he was too low. He was too close to the ground, and Lucky, that is his area. He ran off with it. Poor guy didn't get his turkey leg.
That reminds me of the Friends episode with the sandwich.
Ross's
Thanksgiving.
post-Thanksgiving. Yeah.
Yeah.
You ate my sandwich. Yeah. We think that everybody knows Friends because we've seen the full run 4 or 5 times, but surprisingly, a lot of people don't appreciate its genius. I think that's probably enough. I think we've tapped out all of the content that we've got in our brains, which is not a lot.
Not especially this week.
Yeah. So we will be back. What is today? Saturday. No, Friday.
We're here doing the live on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
It's Friday.
I could have solved that problem.
But I have to say, I was also going, what day is it? You saw me look, what day is it?
So we'll be back with a pre-recorded video for you on Sunday. Now, I usually do those as premieres. So a premiere is a pre-recorded video, but I'm in the chat just like it's a live. So it might look like a live, but it isn't. It's a premiere.
It's a premiere.
And I do that on Sundays and Wednesdays when we have new videos. And the reason you know it's alive is long pauses that don't get edited out.
Exactly.
So, we thank you so much for your support and for watching. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. I almost said crap. All that good stuff. Let your family and friends know about us if you think they would like our vibe. If they wouldn't, mom's the word.
Yeah.
And we will see you soon.
Yes, you have a good weekend as well, everyone. Bye-bye.